Hello, this is Trevor. Today we're working on another XSS lab in Portswigger's Web Security Academy. This time it's a reflected XSS in a JavaScript URL with some characters blocked. Now, I've tried to record this video once before and spent way too long trying to solve this, and that's just not a very good video. So I looked at the solution. What I thought we would do is walk through how they came up with the solution, you know, what it does, how it works, etc. And yeah, so that's what the plan is for this video. If that's not what you're interested in, go ahead and, click off. Otherwise, that's what we'll do. We'll just take a look at the solution, break it down, maybe improve it or change it to make sure we understand it, and then solve the lab. All right, let's go ahead and access the lab. So please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know, is this the right way to do it? Should I pretend I solved it on my own? Which I don't think is right, but anyway. And I may need to do the same for all the other experts labs in cross-site scripting because, yeah, I'm getting out of my depth. All right, so here we go. We're going to look at the solution. And I'm going to copy all of this stuff out. Let's go to here. We'll open up Kate and paste that. And then I'm going to go to decoder and URL decode this. All right, there we go. So let's clean this up. Know that we are in, so it's probably good to show you where the actual vulnerability lies. It is, what was it? Reflected. So it was in view post. And then right here. So view page source. Right there. So let me grab this also. It's the back to blog link. Copy, and I got it. 3. This I want to actually put first. Okay. So this right here is our injection point. This is the post ID, right? Let's break this up. Well, let's leave it the way it is, and I'll copy it and throw another copy down here, and then I will clean this up. So we got fetch. Let's go like this. Enter. There. Enter. So I'm just going to make this kind of pretty so that it may be easier to understand what's going on. And here's our injection point, right? So this is our first, let me copy this. So this is a good one. And this one will be our injection. All right, so the and single quote and end curly brace. That's going to go right here and end the options for fetch, right? So we'll have and single quote curly brace. Curly brace. What did I do? Comma. Right? Well, and I'm going to, as I type it, I'm going to kind of clean up. So we no longer have, well, we still have this one, but it's down there. I'm going to move these two together and make some space. And let's put an enter here just to clean that up. So this is the start of our injection. The and single quote, curly brace, comma, which we saw right here. Next, they have this line here. Let me put this on another line. This is an arrow function. And then we'll go into this. So number one, they're creating a variable x and saving it with the input of x to the arrow function of this, right? We could change this, and I think it's good that we do just to make sure we solve it. So let's say, and make sure that we understand it. Let's say we change it to A, and this one can be literally anything because it should not be used. Inside the arrow function, we have these curly braces, and this is just collecting or a way to set the bounds of the arrow function statements. Hope that makes sense. The first one in there is, oh, and I'm going to include this comma right here, just so we have this here. Okay. So this is interesting. This is the first kind of part of our exploit. What this is doing is it's throwing an error. Spaces are not allowed, right? Those will be turned into plus signs. And so what they're doing is they're using the start and end comment, multi-line comment, which is the slash asterisk, and then to end asterisk slash, to force a space here without using the space character. And then they're doing on error equals alert. And they're doing this in a way to make it a statement rather than, this is all formatted so that they didn't have to use the parentheses, which would have been blocked. So they made this statement, right? Saved it as A. Now they need a way to be able to call A, to execute A, to throw the error that alerts. And as we're practicing, I'm just going to put console.log here. And, you know, I'm going to not make any changes at first, make sure it works, and then we can go through and make changes. All right, so here's our X is saved as this throw error, right? So now we need to figure out how can we get X executed. That's where this line comes into play. Number one, they set this function, the toString function, equal to X, which is equal to this stuff, right? That means that if we can get toString executed, then this statement will run. Hope that one's fairly straightforward. So let's go to the next one. This statement tries to concatenate windows with an empty string. And because it's concatenation, it's going to try to run the toString function on windows, on the window, which when it runs toString, when it tries to run toString, it's going to execute X, which is going to throw the error. Here's the execution of this without any payloads, or, you know, without any parentheses, sorry. So that's pretty smart. The rest of this is just to clean up and make it so that the whole thing is syntactically correct. So we've got the comma, and then we've got a open. So let me add that. Open object with the curly brace. We've got an X, a colon, a single quote, which matches. So let me pull this up right here, which matches right there. This will go there. We don't need a comma because it's the last, the last argument or parameter to this function. And then this continues on as normal. Sweet, right? So just to recap, let's see. So our injection point was right here, right after the post ID equals. In this case, it's 1. We have ampersand single quote to, I should have, I don't know why I didn't URL encode all of this. I just URL decoded the other part. Post IF, this should be question mark. Yeah, there we go. All right, well, that's it. So let's run it, and we should get a console log. And then let's make some changes to it to make sure that we understand it. The payload, as I said, ends here because this single quote and curly brace are what normally would have closed this. So I'm going to copy from here to this ampersand. And I'm going to go to here and paste it. Hit enter. Inspect console. Check out the back button. Boom. And you can see we get the trigger that we wanted, 1337, in the console, and we have the uncaught error, which we threw. Cool. So let's see how. Next, what I like to do is make sure I can change it to verify that I understood it, right? As I said before, we can change this to some other variable. At the same time, we need to change this because these two are linked. Let's pull up. Let's make sure that that is correct. Copy 1 and out. Boom. We still get the same thing. Cool. So we made that change correctly. I said that this doesn't matter, right? Because it's not used. This is the name of the variable that will be used, or the parameter used within the statement. And because we're not using it, it can be anything. Underscore is kind of one of those, I don't know what the right word is. A lot of people use underscore for variable names that they don't actually need, but have to have something there. So we will try with underscore. No, that's the only change I'll make for this first one. So I'm going to copy to the ampersand. And again, remember, I'm doing all this just to make sure that I understand it, right? If I understand it, I know where I can make changes and still have it work. Boom, that still works. Perfect. So I did get that one. All right, what else can we do? What about this X? This is just creating an object. We can change this to anything we want, right? Let's name it Greg. Why not? That's an easy change. We'll leave that there. We can actually set Greg equal to bubbles. This should not matter at all. Can we change toString? I don't know. There's probably another function that we could do, like maybe toInt or something like that, where we try to add window to a number, or we may need to switch those around. Maybe we can try that. Let me run this to make sure that, I did understand everything I changed. Copy. 1. Back to blog. Yep. Cool. So we're golden so far. Let's go to here and let's try that, like toInt or something like that. MDN JavaScript to lowercase int. Is there an int? Parse int. Parse. We don't want that. We want to have it be run automatically. So my thinking was that the way that this one here is run automatically, toString is run automatically here, is because of that automatic, is it coercion? That tries to make it happen. Let's see. What is JavaScript? Is it coercion? Script coercion. Let's check out automatic or implicit conversion. Yeah. Let's check out what this says. Implicit conversion. Maybe we could do an equal. This is just talking about number and a string. Convert. That's what we want, such as string. We want examples. 12. So that's this one is a number one or string one. String to boolean to number. This is what we want. So what about like to boolean? If we follow the same pattern where there was a toString, maybe there's a to boolean. MBN JavaScript to boolean. I don't see one. And we need that because we need to toString. Here's our toString, by the way. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm going to give up. All right. Hello. This is Trevor from the future. So I was wanting to play around a little bit more and try to use something different than toString. And I like the idea of trying to do the number. And so I spent a little time and was looking through the information here on MDN for numbers, right? I came across number. I thought that may be a possibility. And also parse int. I thought that may be a possibility. So I just started playing around in the console. I created the arrow function, saved it as X, and then saved parse int as that arrow function. Pretty much the exact same that's in the exploit, right? Once that was done, I tried to do like window +1, window -1, ×1, and this did not work. So next I tried number, and same thing, did not work. Then I found value of and set that equal. I did 1 times window, boom, it worked. 1 plus window, it worked. Window +1, boom, it works. So we could have used value of, and just to show that, let's change, that's console, let's change this to value of a, and these single quotes to 2. Sweet, let's copy from here to there. Copy, and let's open up the lab. Come on, come on. We'll view post and paste this right here. Inspect. Value of, click it, console, boom, we got it. Yeah, so value of will work just fine in to replace the string to string. And if we wanted to solve it, we just need to change this to alert. Copy from here to there. Paste it, boom. And come on. There we go. We solved it. And if we click, we get our alert, all using the value of. Pretty sweet. All right. Thought I'd just interject that into the video before I sent it. Thanks. Was there anything else we wanted to change? I think this is good. I think we did enough changes to understand it. The only thing we didn't change is really, well, there's 2 things. 1, we didn't change the throw part. And 2, the function that automatically gets called on this line. I don't know of a good option. Please comment below if you do know of something we could have used here and how we changed this line to, to match, to automatically run it. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and write up the exploit in Python for this and call it a day. If you have any more questions about this, definitely leave it down below and I'll answer them. Let's write the script real fast. This will be an easy script. So we got JavaScript URL, some characters blocked. And JavaScript URL, some characters blocked. And let me know, if I didn't solve this myself, right? I looked up the solution and we talked it over. If you'd rather just me not putting up a video than walking through the solution, let me know. If you think this is valuable, kind of walking through what's done. Let me know that as well. So we want to visit a URL, right? So we'll do blog. We'll do, crap, what am I doing? Blog.get response URL, and we'll save this as resp equals, and then we'll check if it's solved. I don't know if we actually have to click the blog or the back button, but let's see. Okay, URL equals, we're gonna make it post ID. We could, let's do, okay, so blog.base URL plus, and we just want post ID. This post ID, and then we want plus payload, right? We may need to, well, we will need to encode some of the payload. Payload equals, no, not double quotes, single quotes, right? Yeah. Sorry, the opposite, double quotes. This is our payload. We'll use the one we created, but we need to start somewhere. So I'm gonna put this here. And what we changed was the x equals, whoops. So x equals, we changed that to a equals our underscore arrow function. We didn't change anything in there. To string now equals Windows plus single quote, and then we, instead of X, we had Greg, and then single quote bubbles. Okay, that was our exploit. Do we need a response? We don't. And then I'll put blog.isSolved. Let's run that. Python, JavaScript, URL, some characters blocked. Copy. Paste that there. Hit enter. And we have no lab is solved. Log.info. Getting URL with payload. F. Paste. Let's remove requests. All right, well, there we go. So we did solve the lab. We walked through let's walk through this real quick as a summary of what we did. We took the solution and decoded that and then broke it down, right? We found out that how they did it was, number one, they got out of this options argument to the fetch, and then added some more arguments. Number one, the first one they added was an arrow function that turned a statement, which is throw on error equals console.log, and then what we needed. Oh, you know what? No, I did have on an error alert. And by turning this into an arrow function, it meant that it could be called rather than just be a statement. Then we needed a way to call this. So they used the toString and saved our function as the toString method. Then this line, which would automatically try to convert the window to a string to do this concatenation. And then we needed to clean up to make sure that the single quote and end curly brace wouldn't screw up the JavaScript or wouldn't have syntax errors. To do that, we created an object here with Greg as the key and Bubbles as the value. And that was it. That finished off the exploit. We URL encoded some of the characters in that and then sent it along, and we solved it. Let me know what you think about this format. Again, I'll probably do the same for the expert labs coming up. I looked over them, and I don't think I'm going to be able to solve those on my own either. So these videos are better than nothing, or they're better than hours of me pulling out my hair, screaming, giving up, crying. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Goodbye.